to come.
Welcome to Too Much Dip, the only podcast that has a chip with cheese on it as a mascot. My name's Dave. Coming to us live from DeSoto, Texas for maybe the last time as far as remote from DeSoto, one of the last.
You'll get one more Thursday.
It's KJ. Are you going to tell people where you're moving?
Yeah, breaking news. A week from today, I will be an apartment boy. Moving out of DeSoto up to the suburbs, boy.
Wow.
You got to stop.
Dude, see, you can't have Dylan, me, and you singing.
Oh, man. Yeah. So I talked a lot about the hell that was the process of getting a house ready to be on the market, or at least to go about it properly, getting in painters, fixing up things around the house for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then that shit went in like 48 hours. We were under contract. And so, close next week, but we got a GTFOH over the weekend. Get this stuff moved, get into storage. Then your boy will be broadcasting live from the confines, likely of a nice, quaint 2-bedroom apartment for a few months. Maybe I'll even pop in for my office from time to time. We'll see. We'll see what the acoustics are like in the appointment.
Just a few months, then what? What happens after that?
Keep
an eye out.
I would say I'm in the transfer portal. How about that?
Ooh, I like that analogy. It's got a sports tie-in.
Speaking of transfer portal, was that Trump sound clip that you dropped at the beginning of the podcast? A shout out to me and my excitement over what's going on.
Oh, okay. So in this scenario, you're so excited that you're coming.
I'm asking if that's what you're referring to.
That's Dylan, by the way, folks.
Hey, everybody. I'm not about to see, but I am very excited about what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stuff happening.
It really wasn't. I was actually just looking for audio from the Too Much Dip Instagram that I could play to intro because I didn't want to do like one of the sound drops. And look, we don't like to get political here, but objectively, the greatest soundbite of all time.
Now that 2021 is coming to an end and we look back on the year that was, I will say that my favorite video of the year is the Kamala Harris-Trump hybrid of the two when she's saying, do not come, and it goes to Donald and he says, I'm gonna come with the hands. It's for me that's as good as it gets.
KJ, your thoughts?
So much better. I was gonna say it makes it so much better that we don't. And maybe it's just because I'm a sycophant and I will like consume every piece of viral video in the political stratosphere whenever a certain candidate or certain president is in office. But I kind of enjoy the down times right now where the best clip we get is like somebody falling asleep.
Sleepy
so with
Joe?
the Kamala video, I don't remember watching the whole press conference. I don't. Exactly. Sleepy Joe. It's like, so man, when I see the clip, I'm like, might as well be the real context. Was her talking about coming? Sleepy Joe,
AKA our president. He really did himself no favors after that nickname kind of surfaced and he went on to fall asleep publicly a couple of times, but it's a good one.
I can't throw rocks in that glass house. I know we're way off track here, but I previously was highly revered back in my office days early in my career for being able to sit at the computer, have an open email up, hands on the keyboard, and my fingers would be just writing an email full of like G's and K's and L's because my hands would be heavy on the keyboard and I would just be full blown asleep. Eyes maybe not open, who knows, but just head up. Just nothing. So I can't throw stones in the glass house of daytime sleepiness.
We've all been there. I've fallen asleep in public many times. Passed out.
This guy parties.
This guy parties. Hey, speaking of partying, go to washedmedia.shop. Get you a dippy. Get you some dippy gear. We got the Dippy Bang long sleeve. We've got the Dippy. Do we still have the Formula One? I think we do. We didn't sell out of those, did we? No, we didn't. We got it. Get you a dippy Formula One. Speaking of that, we got all sorts of gear. Washedmedia.shop. Get you a washed winter torque. You can even just do like some dad caps. We got all sorts of stuff. A lot of good gear on there. Check it out. What's the cutoff date for Christmas arrival? It's the 15th.
I would imagine it's already passed. I don't know.
We'll set it on circling back today, so I hope that's not the case.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, let's go with that.
Just buy it today. And then if it doesn't get here in time, then just definitely email Randy. Randy at washedmedia.com and just let him know your grievances. Today's going to be a fun show. We've got a lot to get to. I think there's no better way to start than let ground floor F1 guy, Dylan, just explain what went down yesterday in the Drivers' Championship.
Everyone has been referring to me as ground floor F1 guy. Combine the two there. Yeah, an exciting finish. KJ, did you watch?
I caught. I feel like I watched it live. Yeah.
Let's tag team this.
I was there.
Let's tag team this. So,
hey, guess what? Also a ground floor
Lewis
F1
Hamilton.
guy. I watched it too, Dylan.
Verstappen. I'm going to say his name correctly. We're tied going to the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi, as we know. Yeah. An exciting first lap. I believe Lewis was run off the track a little bit, so it started off hot. Coming into the final few laps, there was a wreck, collision. And
a guy's name who I don't know the first name. Latifi is his last name, but
Quinn
every
Latifi.
time I've referenced it since,
Quinn
I keep
Latifi
thinking
got into an accident. Now they brought out the safety car for a few laps, of course, getting the wreckage off and all that. So Lewis was in P1. Verstappen was in 6th. I mean, he was in 2nd. He was in P2, but there were cars between them that had been lapped. So
correct.
They weren't in the race, but they were very much physically in between the two, right?
How demoralizing is it to get lapped?
I know. Just go fast.
There's no coming back.
Drive faster.
I would just not get lapped.
I know.
I would rather just crash and have to get kicked out. I know you got to get points.
Finish, right?
Ah, damn. Freaking car again. All right, sorry.
In one lap, basically, it's not like it's not a short lap. Like one lap is a very, very long.
That's how slow your vehicle is. What's going on?
What are you doing?
Get new tires.
Like, play a different sport. Anyway. So there's controversy because with several laps to go, I guess there's like a disagreement on whether or not the ruling allows for the lapped cars to pass the safety car. KJ, can you clarify? I read about this.
So
it's still
I don't know how much I can bail you out on the ruling itself. And fortunately, nobody comes to us to bust open a rule book. But what I can say is if there is any controversy, the question is, I guess Mercedes is lodging appeal based on only 5 cars were able to unlap themselves or get themselves in a position after the safety car exited the track, as opposed to with more laps to go, they would have allowed more cars to free themselves up, if not all 20 cars or the remaining vehicles, and then resume the race. However, given that there was only like 1.5 laps or so left, they allowed 5 cars, and then both cars were in position. And it basically gave Max Verstappen a opportunity to benefit from the fact that he had newer tires.
And soft tires, I believe.
Yeah, soft tires, but they were he'd gotten his tire. They only had maybe 12 laps on them or something like that.
Which gave him a pretty big advantage over Hamilton in that last lap, which enabled him to pass. And so he won. Verstappen won. There's some controversy. Some people think was it George Russell who immediately was just like, this can't happen or something. Like he was not happy about it. People think
unacceptable, I think was his tweet.
It almost seems like the decision to let the lapped cars pass the safety car was almost like discretionary. Like it was almost like to create drama or to allow for an exciting finish.
I think that's the thought was to put the two big dogs head to head to create this.
Because
and it gave us like a sick ending, but like, I don't know. Like people, I'm maybe reading a biased writer here, but like they're saying that they're picking and choosing which rules to enforce and which ones not to. And I don't think anybody thinks this is a good decision. Now, if you're a Mercedes hater, you don't care. Like, you think Mercedes has had this coming because they've benefited from some interesting enforcement of the rules this season. But I guess one thing I didn't realize was how many people really didn't like Mercedes. And I'm very curious, are there a lot of Verstappen fans because they like him, or is it just because they don't like Lewis Hamilton? Because the guy, granted, I haven't been watching the sport very long, and I'm notorious for only watching the last 20 minutes of every race. That's my viewing progress. But he just doesn't seem like he's got any personality whatsoever. Is it just that he's the other guy? He's the Phil to Tiger?
I think people like him for a few reasons. I think people want a little bit more parity in the sport. Also, he's kind of just a bad boy. Some people like a bad boy. He's also widely regarded as like the best young talent in the sport, which I think is very clear if you pay attention. So it's like it's exciting what he's doing.
Okay. And we were kind of trolling Will yesterday because Will's a big Verstappen guy.
Yes.
And we were busting his balls saying that this was
I'm going to object slightly. I would say that Will sought out any opposition to him beating his chest as a Verstappen fan.
He was looking for smoke.
Well, and he got it, because I did compare this to the Astros World Series. And now that comparison may be a bad one. It may not really, like, on the merits look, when you really look at it, you could probably differentiate the two. But at the end of the day, we're talking asterisk. And I actually feel bad for Verstappen that, like, dude, he wins his first championship, and this is what people are talking about. And it's not just us. We're not the only haters. I am a ground floor Lewis guy. Everybody knows that. But
I guess my position would be, I'm learning quickly that Verstappen, and this isn't a Will dig, but Verstappen fans are a special kind of terrible. Like, they're very Boston sports team fan-esque. And oftentimes the fan base can make me dislike a player or a team, or in this situation, a driver. So again, while I have nothing against Verstappen, his fan base is a little bit insufferable, but what I would have hoped for, as somebody was hoping that Lewis would win, is that if Verstappen won in this situation, if I'm a fan of Verstappen, it's like, he's been an incredible driver all year. He is one of the best drivers. They've had a hell of a season. I'm glad that that everything that he's proven over the year wasn't tossed by the end of this race. But we wish that it wouldn't have had to come down to that. Like, maybe that ending wasn't the way that they wanted to win. And whereas they're like, hey, I don't give a shit. This righted the story. This is what should have happened. I'm like, okay, that's kind of shitty.
To be fair, it did create some drama. That last lap was pretty exciting.
No, that was their goal. To them, the ends justify the means. But I mean, to people like us, the most casual F1 fans, trying to decipher what happened and kind of not really having any faith in the governing body and being like, well, is this how it has always been? Like,
yeah, it does. It seems like a shady sport. It really does, man.
It's the elite sport.
And I kind of talked about this the last couple of weeks. Like, it's all just coming together a little bit too perfectly right now.
A lot of people think it's scripted, which I don't. That would be quite the undertaking.
It certainly feels that there's some of that going on.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out in legitimately like a movie.
These two badasses come down to they're tied going to the last.
There
race.
Just happens to be.
It comes down
Latifi
to the last
wrecks,
lap.
Safety car.
It comes down to the very last lap in the very last race of the season. It's just like it's a movie script.
Any thoughts or questions on, anything? You're saying shady, and I'm like, hey, I probably wouldn't say anything was shady when it was performed before the prince or princess of the United Arab Emirates, or Mohammed bin Salim.
MBS? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying, coincidence and Panama Papers, MBS, MVS. I'm not saying anything. I'm genuinely not even implying anything. It's just bullshit. I'm glad it happened. I'm excited to watch it unfold on Drive to Survive and to see some of the behind the scenes stuff. Although we've read and been told multiple times that Red Bull and Verstappen multiple times just gives a finger to giving any access or much involvement to Drive to Survive. So maybe it'll give us more Norris time and more Russell time.
Yeah, well, because we're not getting. That's another weird thing about Verstappen is that he's not participating at all on camera in Drive to Survive this season.
A minimum or whatever, like the absolute looks,
Yeah.
Smallest involvement is.
He has early. He has like early Tiger vibes, like in as far as relationship with the media. As far as like kind of doing the bare minimum, doesn't give you a ton, isn't really giving you a look inside the man. Which sounds
my
weird.
only objection would be you could say that Tiger probably had justified skepticism about the media's intentions with
Sure.
him, whereas like there's really no reason that Verstappen would be like so opposed, with the exception of like European paparazzi's another fucking monster over there. So I get it.
That's a great point. It's definitely different over there. No, I was just reading. I'm very intrigued about this, but yeah, I just was looking for any kind of precedent with like a safety car restart like this, and there's just not one. Unless letting cars unlap themselves while the rest of the lapped cars further down the order would remain in place just seems weird. But it's gonna be really, really fun watching this on Netflix whenever that comes out next summer or whatever it is.
They should put them in funny cars and just drag this out, just do a little drag race. If it's up to me, fly them down to Ennis, Texas, put them in some funny cars, just fucking.
Oh yeah, or just taking them down to Ellen's Fairway, Cedar Hill.
There you go.
It's a joke for no one. Handful people.
David, a question for you as Dallas sports fan. The Cowboys dominated yesterday. Micah Parsons, probably rookie of the year, or for sure defense rookie of the year, maybe even defense player of the year. But I don't think anyone would say that things looked great offensively yesterday. So to not do a Cowboys KO session, would you say you have more concern over Dak Prescott or Luka Doncic as a Dallas sports fan?
I'm not concerned at all about Luka. I'm concerned about the Mavericks roster because it's not good. It's not enough to compete at the highest levels of the West. Luka, what'd you say?
Great coaching staff, though.
Oh wow, he laughs as he says it.
It doesn't seem like the answer.
No, it's not. But no, I'm more. I would be honestly more worried about Dak because he is not. He's not looked nearly as good as he did before the calf injury. That's just facts. He looks timid. He looks afraid to tuck it and run, which is a big part of the, offensive threat. Not a big part, but you have to have that threat there. Otherwise, you don't have to. If you're on the defense, you're not worrying about Dak. And he just made some awful decisions that he does not make. Like that pick six yesterday, to make it a one-score game was absolutely the worst throw of his career. I think that the lineman that was kind of in his face blocked the linebacker or safety that picked it, but it's still inexplicable. And his first pick to CD, the ball was sailing on him. So he had some great throws yesterday, but he had some inexplicably bad ones. He's missed some easy ones over the last few weeks. So yeah, I'm more worried about the Cowboys and Dak. But that being said, the defense, now that they are healthy, looks to be elite, and that is enough to win you games and I think playoff games. So it is cause for concern, but I don't know what's up with the dude.
Dylan, were you concerned that your team was up 24-0 yesterday and it was a one-score game?
Yeah. I didn't watch all of this game. I watched some of this game. Highlights, obviously, the defense. Micah Parsons is an absolute beast. I didn't really see much of the running game, but I did see the very poor Dak interception late in the game.
There was no running game.
Yeah, that's more concerning to me than Dak.
No Tony Pollard. Zeke's playing even though his fucking legs busted up. Like,
yeah.
You get Corey Clement getting carries. It's just a weird scene right now.
Behind that offensive line that I think is healthy right now for the most part, that's more concerning to me than Dak, than him missing throws, I guess. But yeah, like Dave said, the defense is strong, and that's going to win you some games. 9-4, division's locked up at this point. Good things. It's like the offense and the defense just kind of switched, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the offense was incredible to start the season. The defense was kind of a little bit injured and off, and then they kind of just flip-flopped. But you got to get hot at the right time.
Yesterday was easily the most complete performance by the defense, because it feels like up to this point they've had big plays. They've had, pick sixes, they've had interceptions, takeaways, which are obviously very important. But like as far as pass rush goes, and just like making Heineke, knocking him out of the game twice, I think. Like you haven't seen that kind of pass rush from anybody other than Micah Parsons in a long time. And God, dude, that guy, I don't even think I'm fully comprehending how awesome his game is, and just how versatile he is.
What are you
But
talking about, Micah?
Micah Parsons.
Dude.
Not Heineke. Not Heineke.
Not Heineke.
Oh, do you think I was talking Heineke? Did I say that? Yeah, no,
Micah Parsons is unbelievable.
I felt bad for Heineke, dude. He's getting lit up. He's a gamer, and you saw when he was getting taken out that second time, like you saw like Neville Gallimore or somebody like kind of giving him a pat on the head, like, "Hey, man, just not your day."
I do enjoy when players like, beat the shit out of each other, but nobody's out there trying to see someone like get their career ruined over a play. Like, I don't think that's anyone's goal. So I do enjoy that sportsmanship, even if some of it sometimes is a little bit like, come on, pal, good luck next time. Yeah, there were a ton of other compelling games yesterday. The Bucks and Bills. The Bills are in a weird spot where they've lost a lot of games, not necessarily that they should have won, but we haven't had a chance to even really discuss the fact that they played against like a 24-mile-an-hour wind and lost the Patriots, who threw 3 passes on last Monday night. Or was that Thursday night?
That was the Thursday night game, I believe.
Thursday night game, yeah. No, it wouldn't have been Thursday. It was last Monday.
We know it was at night. That's what we do know.
Yeah.
Monday.
Last Monday. So the Bills, I still feel like are competitive. What I do know for sure, to kind of wrap up my NFL thought outside of the next story, is that the AFC is much more deep than the NFC. When I look at the Cowboys, as a Cowboys skeptic, a step improved from being a Cowboys hater early in this year. It seems like they find teams that have backup or third string quarterbacks that are just eager to play them right at the right time. Like, I think you guys might be getting Mike Glennon next week. So congrats. And then probably Kyle Allen again.
You think that AFC is deeper than the NFC this year?
Absolutely. Because I would say after the Cowboys in the NFC, it falls off. Like, you've got the Packers.
You think that Cowboys are the class of the NFC right currently?
You mean the Cardinals?
No. The Cardinals, the Packers, the Cowboys.
Okay.
The Rams, and then question mark.
Yeah, that's it.
The Niners I think are in the playoffs, and they're actually, I would say, sneaky competitive. I expect them to probably possibly eke out a win.
It's a good win yesterday.
Huh?
Good win yesterday for them.
Yeah, it was an exciting game with the Bengals. But then the AFC, like, you have so many teams like the Bengals, the Raiders, the Broncos, who I don't think they're good. But
see what happened to the Raiders yesterday?
Oh my God.
Embarrassing.
They got destroyed.
The Chiefs woke up.
Yeah.
But then, in the AFC, I think you go 6-7 deep easily. And then you've got a bunch of average to below average teams that can beat anybody. I don't think the Broncos are good, but again, they can catch the Cowboys in a random week and win a game.
Mm.
Same thing with the Chargers. I don't think they're good, but they'll sneak up and beat somebody. Steelers, they're a terrible team, but they've got enough talent, Ben Roethlisberger aside, to like win a game. And who knows what Lamar Jackson's situation is. So between the Patriots and whatever else is going on over there with the Chiefs, like, AFC is still heavy favorite in my opinion.
Yeah, the Thursday night game last week was the Steelers, and I only remember that because I immediately love starting off the week with an L on dip picks. And
can we address that quickly?
Do we have to?
It keeps happening. Y'all hit your triple play or your
man.
big boy stacks. Proprietary.
I feel like every week we keep saying the guests can't stay this hot, and every week they just prove us wrong. Adam's laughing. Shut up, Adam. You're part of the problem too.
The guest has the advantage because they only have to do it once, and they don't have the weight of losing and betting against someone else like that are on the show. So they don't overthink it like we do, or at least like I do. So the guest, and yes, I am discrediting the guest, and that is me being a little salty. Sorry, Adam.
I will say this, like, we've probably guilted Dylan out of his hot streak. Like, if we would have never said anything to Dylan over picking games that we were picking or picking the Cowboys over and over or against Texas towards the end of the year, like, he probably wouldn't have ever missed the big boy stack.
He hit a big boy stack yesterday on a non-Cowboys.
I did. Very proud of that.
It looked weird. It looked ugly at first, but
shout out to my buddy Mikey for the pick.
It was with the Texans and
Seahawks Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seahawks Texans.
-8.5.
No, Reed, listener Reed, Dr. Reed, just whipped our ass. Well, beat me by 1 game. It was I had a good showing. But yeah, he did good.
Big boy.
He did it again.
He tied the guest record for picks on the year.
7-2.
Randy has had a 7-2 year. Reed has had a 7-2 week. I'm sorry. So is Randy, and as Brett one of his 2 times. So
let's just get Landry back on.
Exactly. We may have Landry on. We may have to go to a professional picker and just zig when they zag. Because I feel like when we had Jack Hammer on, who's good at picking sports betting, he had an average week at best. Yeah. So we might need to call on Brick or something to play the heel here. So.
Yeah, he needs to have a word with Dylan regarding
Brick Squad
coffee methodology.
That is true. All right.
Let's talk urban. What are we talking now? Is it urban time?
Yeah.
Don't be so timid about urban. He's gone.
I don't think he is. That's the problem.
There's no. What happened? What came out yesterday or over the weekend?
So allegedly, all caps, underline, full quotes, allegedly, sprinkle stars over it. There was a report, I believe, by SB Nation or someone, Tom Pelissero on Twitter, had reported that there were many plugged-in sources that recanted a couple different incidents, one in which Urban Meyer got into a heated argument with Marvin Jones, to which I'd reply, so what? Like, Marvin Jones isn't the franchise superstar. He was our big offseason signing, but it's, that's a stupid thing to report and be like, oh, this head coach is tanked. Obviously, on the whole, it's just not another good sign. I complained earlier in the season that things were fine because I hadn't heard rumblings of players complaining, big red flashing light there. Last week, Trevor Lawrence had complained about the benching of James Robinson, who I'd also defended, saying if the Jags were going to be good, they needed to run the ball at James Robinson. They actively have not been doing that. And after Trevor Lawrence came public with that statement, they ran the ball like 7 times yesterday total, and like 4 of them with James Robinson.
My RB1. It's not looking good.
And then lastly, there was a report that Urban Meyer went around the room of his coaches in a meeting, yelling at them one by one, asking them what have they won, telling them basically to defend their history, like have they ever won a national championship, a Super Bowl, or anything. To which in my head, I'm like, I don't know, don't hire a staff full of Charlie Strongs and losers if you want to be able to go around the table and ask them what they won. Basically calling all of his coaches losers, blaming them, and going on. Urban Meyer basically validated everything but the argument with Marvin Jones, saying, yes, I am hard on my coaches, but the Marvin Jones report, that's bullshit. I don't know who these sources are and where these leaks are coming from, but if there's actually a leaker or somebody, reporting this, then they're going to be unemployed. It looked bad. And then to top it all off, I don't know if you saw this, following getting their asses absolutely whooped by the Titans, Urban Meyer decided to do the thing I hate the most about college or football coaches, period, and do the whole bullshit, no handshake, cold shoulder, not even stop and say hi, good game after the game with Mike Vrabel.
He looked dead inside.
Who used to coach with him, correct?
If so, I don't know.
Was he not on staff with him at Ohio State at some point?
He might have been briefly, because Vrabel pretty quickly after coaching was back in the NFL. So maybe he spent a year up there. I know that coaches connect and communicate before the games during the weeks a little bit, and then after the games sometimes, or, weeks after or whatever. So what they see on the field, as awkward as that is with like randomly cops always walking with coaches and the media, it's still just a terrible look. You can go give a fucking handshake and move on with your day.
They were definitely, or Vrabel was definitely on that coaching staff. I don't know if he was like a linebacker coach or something, but
So they have somewhat of a relationship.
yeah, he could have given him the stop, look him in the eyes, say 2 words, pat on the back, and then walk off. Instead, dude, that just looked like a guy.
That's
That
a
looked
dead
like
man walking. He knows that he's toast. He knows. Ugh, my God.
that was very Kendall Roy of him to be topical. Have you guys seen this? You guys seen this show Succession?
I'm way behind.
Okay.
And that's on me.
How you feeling though? I mean, you got to think this is great for Trevor Lawrence's development.
That's the only thing I would say is applying pressure. Like, as a fan base, it's embarrassing, yeah. But like, would I feel better as a Lions fan? No, not at all.
Adam fist pumps off mic.
Like, we've won 2 games. They've won and tied a game. But like, do I feel better if I'm them and they've got a rah-rah like coach in absolutely no direction as a team, like personnel-wise? We've got better talent. It should be better than they are. It's not working. Yes, there's some dysfunction. I would be more concerned that some of this will inhibit them from bringing on more talented coaches in the future. Not head coaches, but staff. I just don't see the Khan family firing Urban, and I don't see Urban quitting on his own. Sometime next year, maybe. Otherwise, we're going to have like Doug Peterson or Bill O'Brien fucking coaching our team.
What if he has like a health condition that just pops up out of nowhere that keeps him out of coaching for, say, like a year?
I get it. It's happened a couple times in the past, but like, he was in those places for like 5 or 6 years. You know,
his heart just couldn't take it, KJ.
People have been like arguing, oh, he's going to leave. He's going to take this job. He's going to have this heart condition like since like week 3 or week 4. And so it's like, I don't see anything happening short of Trevor Lawrence like making it happen, which is a possibility.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was the Trevor Lawrence angle. I didn't know he was displeased with the coaching staff. That's because he does not put off criticize the coaching staff vibes, and maybe it's because he never had to at Clemson. But to have your rookie quarterback say he's not happy about a personnel move seems like a big deal, and maybe even underreported, as I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I guess, you know, there's not one thing that could fix this team. But then again, for a team that won 1 game last year and has 2 wins this year, like, of course, there's not a lot that could fix this. So we'll see. We will see. Still them Jags. That's the quote.
Still them Jags, huh?
Guys, before we get into it further, can I just take a minute to talk Coinbase?
Please do, Dave.
If you've been looking to level up your financial portfolio, it's always good to diversify. Why not think about cryptocurrency? Backed by the world's leading investors, Coinbase keeps your portfolio safe and secure while adding crypto into your mix. Coinbase offers a trusted and easy-to-use platform to buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency, Dylan.
I've been in the game for a minute.
You have? We both have. We're both Coinbase guys.
I've been a Coinbase guy from the jump.
They support the most popular digital currencies on the market and make them accessible to everyone. They offer portfolio management and protection, learning resources, and a mobile app so you can trade securely and monitor your crypto all in one place. Millions of people in over 100 countries trust Coinbase with their digital assets. Whether you're looking to diversify, you're just getting started, or searching for a better way to access crypto markets, start today with Coinbase. That's how I got in the game, and I've utilized some of those learning tools that they offer, and it's helped me a lot. Now I'm officially the crypto guy. People come to me.
For a crypto dumbass like me who doesn't really even understand
blockchain,
stand it. It's a good like beginners like, oh, let's get in the game. It's very simple to use.
How about this, Dylan? For a limited time, new users can get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at Coinbase.com/bang. Sign up at Coinbase.com/bang for $10 in free Bitcoin. This is a limited time offer, so be sure to sign up today. That's Coinbase.com/bang.
Is it time?
Is
it time?
You had a little extra something when you walked into the office this morning.
I would say, can we just consider like the last 2 or 3 months of this man's life out here? Like, After the low being like an all-time bad losing streak, he kind of just resided to, you know what? I'm done with the season. I found my place in like a position of zen. The man's like secured a new abode, purchased a home, confirmed a Vegas trip. And now maybe the biggest thing of all,
I'm busting right now.
Just absolutely fucking lifted off of West Texas face Quinn Ewers, selecting the University of Texas.
Texas landed 2 5-stars over the weekend, the nation's #1 offensive tackle. And, of course, Quinn Ewers, one of the highest-rated recruits of all time, actually tied with Vince Young as the highest-rated recruit of all time.
Ewers Anon is what some are calling him.
No one's calling me Ewers Anon. But, yes, Quinn Ewers, the 5-star quarterback who skipped his senior year at South Lake Carroll to go play for Ohio State, got the bag to the tune of like 1.4, 1.5 milli. And in the transfer portal, announced that he's going to Texas last night.
This has been watching this play out over the last week or two, where he hit the transfer portal, and then it was Texas Tech. I believe TCU was even a player in this. He made a visit to TCU.
Tennessee.
Was Tennessee involved?
I wouldn't say Tennessee's name got thrown out there, or maybe I'm thinking Zach Evans. I get the two of them confused because Zach Evans was like the #2 recruit that class.
Okay.
It was Texas Tech, and then TCU got he had a
courtesy visit
he had
for
a
a hometown
coffee
team
in Fort Worth, I think, wherever Quinn Ewers drinks. Probably no cream in that thing.
He's a Bang Energy guy.
Yeah,
if I had to
so.
guess, and that doesn't say anything.
Kind of fantastic, not super, but he just drinks kind of fantastic.
Okay, well, we'll see. So yeah, I mean, Texas is somehow putting together a pretty impressive recruiting class after going 5-7, losing to Kansas. Don't know how they're doing it, but I'm very pleased with what's going on. There's another 5-star offensive guard who's leaning toward Texas. It might announce in the coming days. So things are looking good. Recruiting's just a small piece to the puzzle, of course, but it's a good start to the offseason, the early offseason for the Texas Longhorns. Very excited. Quinn Ewers, I think last week I said I got kind of shithead vibes from the kid.
Oh, and here we go.
I would love to walk that take back at some point. We'll see. I have high hopes, but you never know. You never know what these kids are going to do when they actually, get on campus and go through a program like this. So we'll see what happens. But optimism is in high gear again.
As it should be, because, I mean, if there's one thing Texas is known for, it's definitely not squandering really good recruiting classes. That's like one thing that they're just not known for doing.
Texas, okay, I see what you're doing, and you're not wrong, but Texas has not had like slam dunk recruiting classes the past whatever years. I mean, they've been on par with like they've been a second tier recruiting program, not a top tier, which they have been, the Vince Young to Colt McCoy era. Some great recruiting classes, and that was a winning football program. But since then, it's been kind of good, kind of top heavy, with a few studs and a bunch of just guys. But I see what you're doing. I don't like it. I don't like you either.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, I'm just trying to temper your optimism, partially because I am a little jealous. Not much. I think Quinn Ewers will be fine. I think it's next to impossible for him to live up to the hype, which much of it he's brought on himself. So I'm more it's the talent. It's the Duncanville kid that they flipped from Oregon. And the other kid, the 5-star, you said that was also an Oregon commit. Yeah. Oregon is just bleeding recruits.
Well, they lost their head coach.
Yeah.
Of course, it opens the door to decommitments, which is par for the course, I guess.
Part of the game. But
it is.
Yeah, they picked up Cameron Williams. He is the 6'7", 320 or 330 O lineman on Duncanville. That's featured in a viral vid, just bullying South Lake kids. We'll get to that in a minute.
There's also a 5-star receiver who's committed to Texas A&M, who's been liking some interesting tweets lately. So I don't know.
Oh, did he do the Ted Cruz?
It seems he might be a fan of Quinn Ewers. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not saying he's going to flip. I'm just saying, keep an eye out. Evan Stewart.
Shout out to Corey.
Evan Stewart's his name.
Evan who?
Stewart.
Stewart. I would answer the question about how they're going about it two ways. One, Xavier Worthy, as we've mentioned in the last couple of weeks, seems to be a huge help in their recruitment effort. So shouts to him. Love to see when one of your best players is also front of line, like helping bring people to program, especially from a non-quarterback position. I think that's impressive. And number two, there was a report out last week, UT Athletics to be funded by Clark Field Collective in a $10 million NIL agreement, which basically is like a hedge fund, basically to support Texas Longhorns athletic students, creating a fund to provide them with unique NIL deals. If you want to take a route that's not the Gary Patterson yelling at boosters and individual businessmen, give these players money or we're going to lose them all.
Had
Instead,
to catch a stray.
Thought outside the box. And I just can't quit him. I just can't quit the man.
It's not healthy.
I'm CNN with 45 for like the next 6 months after he left office.
Those ratings are going down.
In this situation, I'm Don Lemon and not Smollett, and I'm definitely not Lemon, and definitely not Cuomo. Anyways, $10 million to go to players. A part of that fund includes Texas basketball player TJ Ford, former football player Kenny Vaccaro. So respect to them for basically throwing their money behind where, they believe, where they would put their faith. I would imagine you'll probably see people like Kevin Durant and other names continue to contribute to these things. So I think that Texas is going to be a big beneficiary of these future NIL arrangements if you can start doing these hedge fund type things.
The best program money can buy.
It's an interesting time in college football.
It is. That's a great way of putting it. I wish Will was here because, Will's been on Alabama since the beginning of the year. And just the more – it's just his position on Alabama before the season started is just – it aged so well.
Dude.
I almost feel like weird talking college football without him here.
Heisman Trophy winner.
How do you feel about that?
I thought it was strange that Michigan's defensive end was second. Aiden Hutchinson had a tremendous year and a very impactful season and showed up huge in big games, but he's so memorable. I completely forgot his name, but the linebacker won the Bronco Nagorski Award.
Will Anderson?
Will Anderson, thank you. I kept wanting to say James.
Which is also my cousin's name.
His stats across the board, it's very weird why he had more sacks, more tackles for loss, and I think tied on turnovers with Aiden Hutchinson. Not saying he had to, be rated higher than him in the Heisman voting, but he wasn't even a finalist, so that was strange if he was going to be number 2. So anyways, I'm pro Bama guy. People know this. Me, big SEC guy.
How's SMU doing recruiting wise?
We are we got a commitment from the quarterback of Dallas, South Oak Cliff, who notably isn't like a highly rated athlete, but if nothing else comes of our whole dedication to Triple D and actually being built of Dallas players, then us like completely committing ourselves to actually recruiting talent out of places that previously would have ended up in some JUCO and not had opportunities, I'm happy for it because Dallas South Oak Cliff is a high school in the southern part of Dallas, which anyone knows anything about Dallas, it's similar to the eastern side of Austin, where all of the opportunity lies on the other side of the highway. In fact, there's the stats like 96% of what you would call white collar or office-based jobs all lie ahead of I-30, kind of the equator of the city of Dallas. And so being raised or growing up and going to high school in South Dallas or Southern Dallas County, it's not included because Duncanville's not the same city, you're faced with a big gap of opportunity. So South Oak Cliff is poised to become the first high school to win a football state title, not including Dallas Carter, which was nullified in the 80s, in like 46 years, which is just wild to think about all of the talent that this city has. South Oak Cliff is like 5 miles away from Duncanville, if that. And they just can't ever hold on to their talent because they go to places like DeSoto, Duncanville, Bishop Dunn. So SMU taking their quarterback, I think that's a huge win, and good luck to the Golden Bears.
I love it. They got Liberty Hill on Saturday. It's going to be good.
Who does? Duncanville have?
Thank you for asking. Look, we've mentioned Duncanville and Southlake already. They played in the 6A Region 1 or 2, doesn't matter. That's a confusing thing. Semifinals over the weekend. And Duncanville their defense is really, really good. They've played like 3 times in the last couple of years. Southlake got them last year with Quinn Ewers, who had a relatively ordinary game. Not his fault that Duncanville defense was good last year, but they were better this year. Dude, they just brought it to him. And now Duncanville has the team that they have played twice in the last 3 years for the state title in North Shore out of Houston.
3 out of 4.
This is the third.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. And if you'll remember, they lost the first one on a Hail Mary, last play of the game. And then the next year went back, lost their quarterback, Jaquindon Jackson, who Texas commit, transfer portal, now at Utah, backup Cam Rising. Lost him due to a blown out knee because some little butt munch in the semifinals just dove at his knee. And yeah, so they lost that game. They had to start a freshman. And now they're back, and I thought they could get there because they run the ball better than they have in recent years, and their defense, I think, is better. Even though they may not have as many big names, they've still got D1 commits everywhere. And a lot of those guys are like sophomores, so they're going to get more and more offers, before their senior year. But that being said, Duncanville's got to get this one. Coach Samples, the head coach, we've talked about his son quite a bit. He's the recruiting coordinator, running backs coach at SMU, left with Sonny Dykes to go to TCU. His dad's the coach at Duncanville. He's one of the most iconic coaches in Texas, but he's never won state. He's had disastrous last play losses, like the one I mentioned, and even one before that at where was he? Skyline, another DISD school. He's got to get this one. I think I'm feeling good about it. It's not like I've been following North Shore. They're always really good. They've got a ton of commits coming out of there too, and it's going to be fun. It'll be on TV in some capacity. So if you have a chance, watch it. It'll be fun. That's my high school sports minute.
Yeah, Galena Park, North Shore out of Galena Park's out of the suburb of Houston, but former home of or high school of Zach Evans, number 2 recruit in the country, who was committed to Georgia, went to TCU, and now is transferring somewhere. Hasn't been announced, I don't believe it, but I think Oklahoma's the heavy favorite right now.
Yeah, Oklahoma's done quite well in the last few days. I know they got a recommit from a dude earlier. I was checking that out. So if they get Zach Evans, that he's like the most talented running back to come out of that class. I just don't think he's really put it together yet.
Yeah, he would be in line with what Kennedy Brooks does for Oklahoma. Very similar body type and productivity, I think. So to stick on the Texas high school football beat real quick, some news came down Friday night, surprising and maybe popped up in a lot of your timelines. David, you put this on here, so I don't want to completely steal this. But basically, Texas Journalism Hall of Famer, amongst a million other accolades, and I'm not going to do it justice here. I implore you, if you care at all about Texas high school football or just curious on a surface level, follow Greg Tepper at Tepper. We may have him on in the future and sometime in the spring when he's a little less busy, although he'll be producing this magazine at Tepper. Sorry, off track there. Dave Campbell is the name that's kind of synonymous with the beginning of Texas high school football season. For several years, the Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine has been produced and published and put out and released every summer. And it is kind of like an annual almanac for Texas high school football.
It's the Bible.
Exactly. Everybody outside of the state of Texas understands, high school football in Texas is big, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but it's big everywhere from every tiny town of 200 up to schools like Duncanville with 4,500 students, or Allen, where Cool Adams from, with 7,000 students in their high school. And the Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine would basically do at least a paragraph or a snippet review of every single team from the smallest 6A man private school to the biggest one, and do photos and interviews. And the thing would be an inch and a half thick by the time it's done. I remember more than a couple times, I'm kind of getting goosebumps thinking about it, like calling every single Barnes and Noble in the area from like June 15th through like July 6th when it finally would release. Hey, do you guys have this in stock? Hey, do you have this in stock? Hey, do you have this in stock? Just hoping I would see my name pop up in this stupid magazine that would not mean anything to anyone else aside from me when I saw it. And I probably still have the copies, and if they weren't packed, I'd probably pull them up on camera here. But I say all that to say, just to kind of contextualize, like the work that this guy did by just reporting on Texas high school football, which in the grand scheme of things means a lot to a lot of people, and it really means nothing in the bigger picture. He validated all of the effort and all of the time and everything you kind of make this thing be, or imagine it to be. And he gave like credence to like, or confidence. Like he saw you and showed your story. I was very fortunate to kind of get a chance to be interviewed by his staff and do a couple other things with Dave Campbell, Texas football in the past. And this is well before like social media and all of these things. So the amount of work that they do just reporting on the sport and being involved is all because of this guy's work for like 40 years. And yeah, big dude, good dude.
An absolute legend.
Absolutely.
Shout out to his family.
Indeed.
David,
Of course.
on that.
What?
No, I'm saying anything else on
No, that pretty much summed it up. Quite the life. War hero. Was the editor at one of the big Waco newspapers. I think he went to Baylor, was associated with the Baylor program for a long time. And yeah, dude, the guy's a legend. And I mean, there's not Texas high school football, like Varsity Blues and Friday Night Lights, all that lore that, you know, you see in modern day pop culture, like that's not there if he didn't decide like 50 years ago, yeah, you know what? I'm going to make this a thing. I'm going to talk, like you said, about literally every school. I remember Micah was all excited a few years ago. We were giving him shit because he played for a private school and it was 6-man or something. And he's like, my name is in Dave Campbell's book. And like, it was like a source of pride. Yeah.
Micah went to Westlake.
Maybe I've just caught Micah in a lie. Because Micah definitely did.
I think I remember the story. We talked about this. And maybe he spent part of his time elsewhere, but like I carried that thing around to like 7-on-7 tournaments because it would release right before the Texas high school 7-on-7 tournaments. And it would be like looking into a program and be like, oh, look, there he is. And there's that player. Oh, and he's ranked this and he's rated that. And that was just me being a nerd at a young age, all the while, like being, a player as well, which, is probably very indicative of what I do now about this shit. But like, it just made it all cool. Very, very, very cool. So RIP. Now,
Are you
what's not
asking
cool?
I am asking him, Dylan. I'm sending Micah a text to clarify because you kind of made me look like a big jerk.
Dylan, can you,
Ooh, is it time to talk Brian Kelly, my favorite college football coach?
Can we go from something very cool to not cool?
What I love about Brian Kelly is he's so likable, he's so relatable, he's so down to earth. He's not cringy at all. He's like super fun all the time. He just gets it.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Micah didn't go to Westlake. Micah went to St. Andrews. So thanks, man.
Micah went to Westlake.
Micah just said, I didn't go to Westlake. I went to St. Andrews.
What?
Dylan, would you rather be on a staff
Anyway.
or play for a team coached by Brian Kelly or Urban Meyer?
Oh my God. I said over the weekend, we actually went on the golf course and we were talking about Urban Meyer and how he's just flaming out of the NFL already, not even finished with his first season. And I said, if he went back to college, I said, if Texas somehow landed Urban Meyer, I would no longer be a Texas fan. And I stand by that. I think he is an absolute scumbag. So having said that, I think I would rather play for Brian Kelly than Urban Meyer, but I wouldn't be happy about it. The dude is he is so unlikable. I don't know how he got guys to play for him at Notre Dame. I think he's going to have a tough time. I say that as he just landed like a 5-star quarterback. The guy in this video we're about to talk about, he committed, I believe.
Yeah.
But I think with like certain recruits, he's not going to really nail those in-home, sit-down conversations with the family. He's just
certain recruits like where
When you imagine these recruits, are you thinking more?
this is not a black and white
ladies?
thing. This is just
No.
if that's what you're
Are you
talking
saying that
about.
calling Baton Rouge the song doesn't play in every household?
It probably doesn't. It's not even the song that I have.
Why
a
did they do
problem
the
with.
live version?
What is the dance? What is he doing?
It's not a dance.
If y'all haven't seen this video,
It's a man who doesn't dance.
go on the internet, type in Brian Kelly calling Baton Rouge or whatever, and you'll see
What's
it. It is the
It's
worst.
Walker.
It's the
Howard,
worst slash best
five-star quarterback.
best way to spend 30 seconds of your life.
This is a guy whose only dance experience in the last 50 years is like the occasional wedding.
Yeah.
This man has they look. It's hard to make LSU look uncool. Like, you may not be an LSU fan, but like it's undeniably like has a lot of cool things about it.
LSU somehow went from having the most likable coach in the country
Yeah.
to the least likable coach in the country.
Unless your wife's at a gas station.
Unless,
sees him there.
Unless he takes your wife home with him.
That's true.
4 out of 5 blondes agree with Dylan.
he just, oh my God. How do you not see through this guy that he's just a total fraud, man? A good football coach, granted. But I would not want my son to play for him.
I don't blame him for doing what's necessary to kind of not blend in, but like it's bending the knee, in my opinion. It's Nick Saban turning his offense into throwing the ball. Like, he's doing what's necessary, not only to keep up on the field, but off the field. Like, I hate the whole in this TikTok generation, but like when you look at what every other program is doing, you've got to be willing to do these dumb things. If the player cares about it and the player wants to do it, or some other high schooler, even if they think it's dumb, or worst case scenario, you think it's cringe content and it's viral AF, like LSU's name is out there with a 5-star quarterback.
Cliff did it at Tech. Kevin Sumlin did it at A&M. Swagcopter. Look, as far as like cringe coach content, that's Triple C. This isn't that bad. People have been just looking for any reason to jump all over him because it was just a really random hire and nobody saw it coming, obviously.
Well, on the heels of the family, video
The family.
with the accent, he's just coming off as a total fraud.
At least he needs to lean into it. They need to have him do some kind of like cooking show. He needs to learn, like, he needs to do a gumbo with some
Cajun cooking show.
Justin Williams.
He needs
Justin Wilson.
Yeah, he needs to do something to kind of lean into the fact that he knows he's not that guy, pal. He's not that guy.
I grew up watching Justin Wilson all the damn time. It's like my first fall in love with cooking. Like if he gets Emerald out there, or he needs to go direction of get Emerald out there, or in the next video, I need him wearing a barrel, like full blown blue jean overalls, straw hat, big piece of straw at his mouth. Like he needs to go full redneck, like riding a fan boat on the next one. One of the two directions, or he needs to go hang out with Master P. One of the two directions.
Okay. I think honestly, I'm okay with either of those.
He dances like he was guilted into it at a wedding. Like, I don't want to dance. And his daughter's like, come on, Dad.
Do the Cupid shuffle.
Come on, Dad.
He gets out there and he doesn't know how to do it. So he's just kind of making him up.
God.
Like he's an old guy. Old guys just don't dance.
He's not quite a bag of bones yet, but he's he stinks, man.
Did I see where Lane Kiffin hit him with the quote tweet?
Did he?
I think he hit him with like kind of a
Let's go look, shall we?
With a funny GIF or GIF, depending on how you celebrate.
It means he's doing something right.
Lane is somebody who that dude's figured it out as far as coaches go. That guy, he hit him with the Chris Tucker
from Friday, shaking his head. That's great.
You think Lane Kiffin's so good at social media because he's always just tweeting with the 26-year-old sitting next to him?
Okay. There's something to
that. Do we want to do new sponsor alert, or do you want a sports party? I vetoed the last two things, or I moved one and nixed one.
Let's talk about our new sponsor. And of course, we can't have a new sponsor without a new sponsor alert.
Ooh, it's a new sponsor. New sponsor alert.
Thank you, Dylan. That's exactly what we were looking for. Our friends at Super Speciosa. Speciosa. I love this. I love saying it. I've been saying it all day. Look, kratom. You've heard of it. It's an all-natural herb related to the coffee plant that's been used in Thailand for centuries. Kratom helps energize your mind and relax your body. It just helps you feel good without feeling impaired. Dylan, hit me with a little personal story here.
Personal anecdote to add. My mother has Lyme disease. Has had it for going on close to 20 years now. And she has been taking this stuff for years. One of the symptoms of her Lyme disease is it's very energy depleting, very fatigued all the time. And this just gives her a lift. She loves it. She takes it, I think, pretty much daily, speaks very highly.
There's all sorts of scenarios you might want to try it. If you're trying to run the extra mile, some people use it as a pre-workout. If you're just looking to, work up the cojones to ask your boss for a raise, then kratom might be for you. It has only one ingredient, and that is pure kratom leaf. Highly recommend. It's easy to use, 100% satisfaction or your money back guaranteed. Highly recommend the green strains. Those are the most popular. Those are the ones I was actually recommended. And let me just say it's delivering right now. You can try, you can try kratom and get 20% off. Go to getsuperleaf.com/bang. That's getsuperleaf.com/bang and get 20% off with promo code BANG. So it's almost a double bang scenario.
And even better, they've made a change to where if you've used the code in the past, go back and try that bad boy again.
Really?
Let that work twice. Yes. I'm new to the kratom world. So the thing that I'm going to look to try is Super Speciosa has capsules, which for me is a little bit easier way for me to dip my toe into the water. As somebody who has issues with high energy, low energy throughout the day. I don't know, maybe because there are a couple days a week where I'm making like a 6-hour carb drive, round trip. And I just need that extra little punch. So I'm all in.
Big capsule guy.
Big capsule guy.
That is getsuperleaf.com/bang. Use promo code BANG for 20% off. How about that? We got a little time to party.
Party time?
Do it.
Quick little party. R.I.P. Demaryius Thomas.
Why are you laughing?
Is it because I did it? I let off the party with R.I.P. It's a celebration of his life, KJ.
It's my fault.
You put it on here.
I did. I'm so sorry.
Like they said, it's a celebration.
Restart the music. Cut the music and let's restart that from top.
Okay.
Okay.
In. Oh yeah, because we got to get the timestamp anyway. Thank you, KJ. That helps me out. All right.
Little bit of sad news before we party here in a solemn voice. 32-year-old or 33-year-old, about to be 34, Demaryius Thomas, former wide receiver out of Georgia Tech, was found passed away in his home. No word on reason or cause of death. Family members think it has something to do with seizures that he suffered from a car accident over the last couple of years. But incredibly sad stuff.
The outpouring from former teammates, colleagues, apparently the best teammate, the best dude. You hear that a lot, but like this one felt 100% genuine.
Yeah.
So Demaryius Thomas,
R.I.P.
Gone too soon. And let's party now. I don't know if it's better. We don't have to party. This will be more of like a celebration of life in general.
You would want it that way.
Hey, did you see AJ Ferrari, our official wrestler of Too Much Dip, got into a little scrap?
He's the official athlete of Too Much Dip, I think.
Not his fault. It was actually in the wrestling bedlam. A little OU versus Okie State. Little blood fight or whatever you call it. Bloodlust. I don't fucking know what I'm saying.
No love lost?
No love lost. That's probably a better way of putting it.
I loved it in the scrap. He just pulls out a wrestling move.
He didn't strike.
I guess that's what he knows,
He took him down.
Yeah, he just took him to the mat, which is what he does better than anybody, I think. So, shout out to AJ.
Yeah, shout out to AJ and shout out to his family, the Ferrari family. Speaking of combat sports, we had a big, some might say the biggest upset in the UFC. Daniel Nunes is no longer the champ. Juliana.
Amanda,
What?
Amanda Nunez, right?
I do this all the time because I went to school with the Danielle Nunez. That's so embarrassing. I'm so glad she doesn't listen to this show because she would think I was thinking about her. And apparently I am. Amanda
What's up,
Nunez. That's really embarrassing. She loses. Juliana Pena was like a plus 650 underdog. Big deal. I wish I had been watching this. I wasn't. I'll be honest. I was actually out with Dylan drinking espresso martinis.
It's true.
But that being said, I've seen the highlights. That was awesome. Very cool. And you also had Dustin Poirier losing to Charles Oliveira, who is absolutely top 2 or 3 pound for pound guys in the world right now. And Connor wants a piece. What's up?
Is Oliveira lightweight?
Yes. And I think
So Stylebender?
Stylebender probably weighs 20 pounds on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get my weight classes mixed up.
No, that's okay. Connor wants a piece of this. I don't want that at all. Dude hasn't won a fight in a long, long time. He might get it because Dana can do what he wants. I'd like to see a paper written on the F1's governing body and mixed martial arts governing body, or the UFC in general.
I guess, anytime you get into fighting, especially UFC, like you don't have any obligation to make the best fight that's like technically the best fight. You have the obligation to make like the most competitive fight that will draw in the most money. Like that's why we keep getting, he's retired now, but that's why Pacquiao kept getting big fights. Like
Sure.
nobody thought it was anything but money. And then it is the beginning of bowl game season. I will try to keep us all updated on what games you actually should spend any time paying attention. Your first one, Boca Raton Bowl, is this Saturday morning featuring Western Kentucky, which, by the way, moment of silence for all those lives lost through the huge storm front and tornado over the weekend. Absolute terrifying situation. Some towns just absolutely wiped off the map. And damage in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is home to Western Kentucky. I've got a couple friends, one of which is a listener to this good program. So shouts to any listeners we have in that area.
Absolutely.
Can I double down on that point? Can I, our friend listener, Evan LaPointe, his wife is a teacher in Bowling Green, I believe. And they had a ton of teachers and students affected. They're taking donations right now to buy gift cards for the families, all of Western Kentucky. And they're doing those. They're donating everything. Her Venmo, it's at Haley, HALEYL 19, Haley L19. They're donating all that because there's just so many people. This is one of the scarier tornadoes. KJ, I didn't know you were such a weather buff.
Haley?
What's up?
How do you spell Haley?
Oh, HALEY. At Haley L19.
Got it. As a son of a teacher, grandson of a teacher, nephew of teachers, as you, husband of a teacher, that is always a cause that I will support. So, Western Kentucky plays App State. Over/under for this game set at 67. It's the third highest of all of the entire bowl season. SMU Virginia, I think, is at 70 or 71 because SMU has no defense. And then the other game, it's impossible for me to absolutely know that off the top of my head, but it's at 67.5. So it'll be worth watching Saturday morning. Western Kentucky and App State with the extra juice for the team in Western Kentucky because they got a reason to, go out there and win.
Fantastic. Good party.
Let's run it back.
Dylan, run us back. Get us out of here.
Of course, this is the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. You ready?
Let's go.
We're all going to come. Which was, for some reason, the theme of the first 2 minutes of today's episode. Queen Latifah got in a wreck in Abu Dhabi. That's unfortunate. Urban is surrounded by a bun.
Oh, a bunch of losers. KJ has ADHD.
You got to finish that sentence, KJ.
The Urban Burger.
Oh, a bunch. Okay.
Ron Burger did it, and I was looking at it, and I was like, what does that mean?
Surrounded by a bun. So he's like a patty? What's going on here?
In this scenario, he is a meat patty.
Quinn Ewers drinks kind of fantastic. Some KJ touches throughout this list, of course. We'll call the Alabama season. People forget.
That's true.
He was the first one in on that. New sponsor alert. Super Speciosa. I just wanted to say that. Super Speciosa. And finally, Texas is back.
I don't know if we decided that.
Texas is back. It's mullet season and mullet fever. Bleach blonde mullet. I'm going to get a wig. We're all going to do it. Adam's with me. Texas is back.
You are not allowed to support the mullet at this point in time.
Oh, I absolutely am. I'm all in on Quinn Ewers. Let's fucking go.
All right, I think we got one more live stream in 2021, and it is this Thursday. So we will see y'all then, 6:30, Washed Media YouTube. Remember, go to washmedia.shop and get some gear. On that note,
Bye-bye.
bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.